Listen, I mean, Kevin, infectious energy, the tenacious gum chewing. It's all the great stuff. It's all part of the Pete Carroll experience. When you saw the news of this, a lot of people were thinking it was going to be coming. What were your initial thoughts?
I think it's the right person at the right time for this job, because you talked about the infectious energy. He's going to re-energize the Raiders organization, but he's also going to re-energize the fan base, which, let's face it, has been kind of through a roller coaster in the last decade or so. And here's somebody who's going to come in here and bring the juice. And he also is known for building things into winners. He did it at USC. They won a national championship. He went to the Seahawks. He built that franchise and that organization to be consistent winners, and they won a Super Bowl and went to 2 Super Bowls. Should have won a second one, if not.
If you hand the ball off to beast mode, Marshawn Lynch on the 1-yard line, that happens. But listen, so this is a great hire in my estimation. You can see from all the video, players are really drawn to this guy. I think the key here, though, is although this is a culture guy, Antonio Pierce was supposed to be a culture guy as well. So what changes here with Pete Carroll in the fold? Because you still don't have a quarterback.
No, and that's where it begins, right? His initial thing is going to be, I have to get my coordinator set, an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator. Carroll's more of a defensive-minded coach, so the offensive coordinator is going to be the key hire here. And then you got to get the players, and it's going to be not something that's going to transform overnight like we're seeing with the Washington Commanders, because they got their franchise quarterback. That quarterback probably not going to be there for the Raiders in the draft, so they may be looking at some type of a stopgap measure to make the next step and then move on from there. So here's one thing about Pete Carroll, though, when you talk about how he is going to build things. When you look at the coaching tree, Bill Belichick, assistant coaches have not done well as head coaches.
Yeah.
Well, Pete Carroll's one of his assistants, Dan Quinn, the head coach in Washington.
Tremendous.
Doing a great job in his first year. Gus Bradley was another defensive coordinator under him. Wasn't as successful as a head coach, but certainly as a coordinator with the Raiders, and now with Indianapolis has done well.
They did a great job with that whole Legion of Boom, that defense that they built in Seattle that was prolific. Listen, this is a guy, 14 seasons with Seattle. You mentioned 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 win, 10 postseasons appearances, and 137-89 and 1 for a great record. So this is a guy who certainly can get it done. My last question for you. He is 72 years old. This is a 73.
Almost 74.
Okay, so I mean, this is a guy, he does have a youthful energy. He's young at heart. He's certainly younger than me at 32. But what do you think timeline-wise for this guy? I mean, what he can accomplish at this age with this team?
Well, it sounds like it's going to be, from all the national reports, a 3-year deal with an option for a 4th. And people are saying, somebody this old, he's only going to be there a short period of time. Well, when has a Raider coach not been there a short period of time over the last 3 decades? The last Raiders coach that's been there 5 years or more, Tom Flores, in the 80s. So the Raiders, if he can get 4 or 5 years out of Pete Carroll, and that is fantastic for them. It's better. That means they're having success, and then they can transition to the next one. So I think that's kind of the game plan.
Kevin, I always have shtick. I got the gum.
See, now he has people who pick his gum up off of the floor. Sure.
Here, take a piece.
I'm not going to pick your gum up off the floor like
no.
he has. But
he has a guy who actually just holds his gum. I did do some research. He chews 4 packs a game, and it's always Bubble Yum original pink flavor. So
That's
there we go.
Stuff.
I feel an endorsement deal coming.
This is how you got to do it, guys. I'm going to toss it back to you guys. You got to make sure you get in that end zone,
Yep.
I'm thinking we're going to really, attack the quarterback.
You know what? I think it's better when he does it, Mike.
Yeah.
All right.
That's okay.